Everything you know about yourself is a lie. You were given a name, a past, a set of rules to live by. You were told what's possible for you and what isn't. You didn't question it. You never thought to. But something inside you knows the truth. Because the person you think you are is not who you truly are. Meet Alex, 35 years old. A man who has spent his entire life believing in a version of himself that was never real. Alex was never the strongest, never the smartest, never the bravest. At least that's what he told himself. That's what the world told him. And so he accepted it. Little by little, the world placed him in a box, a comfortable, predictable, suffocating box. And just like that, he became a prisoner in his own mind. Then, one night, it happened. He woke up, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding, feeling something was wrong. A thought crept into his mind, a question he had never dared to ask himself before. Who am I? He walked to the mirror, staring at his own reflection. His reflection shifted, subtle, eerie. The face looking back at him was not his own. And for the first time in his life, Alex questioned everything. Who told me I was weak? Who told me I wasn't enough? Who decided my limits? Crack. His reflection shattered. Identity is not given. It is not found. It is forged. From that moment on, Alex made a choice. He was no longer the man the world created. He was the man he created. He broke old habits, rewrote his own story, and step by step, he broke free. He was no longer trapped in the illusion. He was reborn. Because the truth is, you are not who you think you are. You are who you choose to become. And now, the question is for you. Right now, you have a choice. Stay trapped in the illusion, or step into the fire and forge yourself anew. You were not born weak. You were not born afraid. You were made that way. But now, you have the power to break the chains. The fire is waiting for you. But will you step in? A phone vibrates. Alex picks it up. A voice on the other end. Low, chilling. You really think you've escaped, don't you? His face drops. His eyes widen. His heart pounds. The past is not done with him yet. Alex's hands tremble as he grips the phone tighter. His breath is shallow, his pulse a drumbeat in his ears. The voice on the other end is low, haunting, familiar. You really think you've escaped, don't you? Silence hangs between them like a blade, sharp and waiting to cut. His mind races. He knows that voice. He just doesn't know from where. He swallows hard, forcing himself to speak. Who is this? A slow chuckle slithers through the speaker, crawling under his skin. You already know. Alex's grip tightens. The room around him feels smaller, the walls pressing in. He has spent months tearing down the version of himself that the world forced upon him, reforging himself into something new, something unbreakable. But now, the past is reaching for him with cold, clawed fingers. The line goes dead. The silence is deafening. He stares at his reflection in the window, but for the first time in a long time, he isn't sure who he's looking at. He turns from the glass and moves through his apartment, checking the locks, glancing over his shoulder. He tells himself it's paranoia. He tells himself the past can't touch him anymore. But deep down, he knows better. The next morning, an envelope waits at his doorstep. No name, no return address, just 2 words scrawled in red ink. Remember me? His stomach tightens. His fingers hover over the seal before tearing it open. Inside is a single photograph. His blood turns to ice. It's him. A picture of him from years ago, sitting alone on a park bench. But there's something else. Something his mind refuses to accept. In the background, standing just out of focus, is a shadowy figure. A figure he's seen before. Watching, waiting, always there. The room feels like it's spinning. His past isn't just knocking, it has stepped inside, and the worst part? He has no idea what happens next. Alex clutches the photograph, his breath shallow, his heart hammering against his ribs. The figure in the background, a shadow from a past he can't quite piece together, stares at him through time. His fingers tremble as he flips the picture over. More red ink. 3 words. You were warned. A cold chill slithers down his spine. Who is playing this game with him? Who is trying to drag him back to the person he fought to leave behind? He drops the photo on the table and takes a deep breath. Fear is a test, and he refuses to fail. But fear is also familiar. The old Alex would have let it control him. He would have let the weight of the unknown crush him under its heel. Not anymore. He has forged a new self, a stronger self. He is not the man who hides in the shadows of his own mind. He is the fire that burns through illusions. And yet something inside him stirs, a whisper, an echo of something long buried. The past doesn't just haunt, it hunts, and right now, it is circling him like prey. His phone vibrates again. Unknown number. He lets it ring. It stops. A message pops up. Open your door. His pulse quickens. His instincts scream no, but his hands move on their own. He steps toward the door, every footfall a battle between fear and defiance. His fingers tighten around the handle. One deep breath, then another. He turns the knob. The hallway is empty, but there, at his feet, is a small black box. No markings, no signs of where it came from. He crouches, hesitates, then slowly lifts the lid. Inside is a cassette tape, an old one, the kind no one uses anymore. One word etched onto its surface. Listen. His mind races. Who uses tapes in this world of digital footprints? Who wants to make sure their voice is heard but never traced? He pulls out an old recorder from a forgotten drawer, slots the tape in, presses play. Static hums through the speaker, hissing like a serpent, coiling around him. Then, his own voice. If you're hearing this, it means you don't remember. Alex's blood runs cold. His breath catches in his throat. His own voice, a message from himself. They told you that you were free. They lied. The static swallows the rest. The tape clicks, stops. Silence. His hands shake. His past isn't just watching, it's speaking. And it knows something he doesn't. Somewhere in the distance, a knock echoes through the walls, slow, deliberate. He is not alone. Alex's breath is shallow. The walls around him seem to close in, pressing against his mind like unseen hands. His own voice from the tape lingers in the air, twisting like smoke, suffocating in its meaning. If you're hearing this, it means you don't remember. What was he supposed to remember? What did he forget? And worse, who made him forget? His hands tremble as he rewinds the tape and listens again, hoping to catch something new, a whisper in the static, a clue in the silence. But all he hears is the final warning, a message from a version of himself that no longer exists. They told you that you were free. They lied. A sharp knock breaks the silence. Alex's heart nearly stops. Not from fear, but from recognition. Because that knock, slow, deliberate, steady, is a sound he has heard before. Somewhere deep in the recesses of his fractured memory, a locked door creaks open. He moves toward his apartment door, his steps careful, controlled. Fear is clawing at his chest, but fear is just an echo of an old self, a self he has no intention of becoming again. He steels his nerves, grips the handle, and swings the door open. Nothing. The hallway is empty. But something is different. Something is off. The air is heavier. The silence, too thick. Then he notices it. Another box, identical to the first, placed precisely where the last one had been. Alex kneels, hesitating. The last box changed everything. What will this one do? He lifts the lid. Inside, another tape. But this one is different, newer. as if it was recorded only hours ago. He takes it inside, sets it in the recorder, and presses play. This time, there is no static, no distortion, just a voice that doesn't belong to him. "Alex, you have been lied to." The voice is low, controlled, eerily calm. "You have spent your life believing you were in control, that your choices were your own, that your identity was something you shaped. But what if I told you that is the biggest illusion of all?" Alex's fingers dig into his chair. The voice continues. "You weren't just given a name. You were given a fate. You were told who to be before you ever had the chance to choose. And every decision you've made since, it wasn't yours. It was theirs." Alex's mind is spinning. The past he thought he left behind, it's not just chasing him, it's controlling him. You have begun to wake up. You have started to forge yourself. But they won't let that happen. They never do. And now, they are coming for you. The tape cuts off. A deep, bone-chilling silence follows. Then, another knock. Louder this time. Whoever it is, they're not waiting anymore. Alex stands. His heart pounds. His mind races. And in that moment, he understands something. This isn't just his fight. This is everyone's fight. Because the truth is, most people are trapped. Most people are living the version of themselves that was assigned to them. They are following scripts written by others, walking paths they never chose, living in a prison they can't even see. But there comes a moment, a single, defining moment, when you wake up. And once you do, there is no going back. Alex steps toward the door. He doesn't know who is waiting on the other side, but he knows one thing. He is no longer afraid, because this time, he is the one knocking. The challenge to you. Right now, you are standing at a door that leads to the truth, but most people never open it. They hesitate. They let fear decide. They stay trapped in identities they never chose, living lives dictated by others. Is that you? Or are you ready to break free? Are you ready to forge your own identity, to step into the fire and shape yourself into something unstoppable? This is your moment. Your one moment to decide. Will you stay in the illusion, or will you knock?